Hiya folks. Yesterday I put up a video whose original title was Pema Chodron resigns as a Buddhist nun. And a bunch of people complained because she did not give up her nun vows, and so I changed it to Pema Chodron resigns as a Buddhist teacher, implying resigns as a Buddhist teacher in the capacity of her membership in the organization known as Shambhala, blah blah blah, etc., etc. And some people were upset about that even, but I'm going to change it once. I'm not going to change it 100 times. Probably a better title would have been Pema Chodron resigns from Shambhala. But I didn't pick that one, and so whatever. One thing I want to point out right at the outset is I do not present this YouTube channel as a news channel. I think people are getting confused. This is why in the video I said there's an article in Tricycle Magazine that tells you all the details, and it's a rabbit hole, and you can go down and find more and more articles if you want. So the link is below. That's the news. What I'm doing is just giving you my opinion on the piece. But people were upset because I didn't understand or didn't get the definition of Acharya right. This is because I looked it up somewhere I didn't even look up the word Acharya, I just came across it, a reference that referred to it as a translation of the word nun. Well, apparently it's not a translation of the word nun. And I said that in the video. I said, well, I heard it's a translation of the word nun, but that doesn't sound exactly right, and then moved on. Well, people were upset about that. People get very pedantic about this stuff. I'll explain why I thought it was a translation of nun. Here is the place that I'm most familiar with seeing the word Acharya. It's the list of the names of woman ancestors in Zen. This is the document that was created by the San Francisco Zen Center a while ago, I don't know, 10 or 20 years ago, because what's usually chanted when they chant the Zen lineage is just the names of the male ancestors, and then they thought we should name the female ancestors too, and I thought that was a great idea, so when I started chanting ancestors at Angel City Zen Center, I used the San Francisco Zen Center's version of the female ancestors list, because it's perfectly good, and why reinvent the wheel. So it says Acharya Mahapajapati, Acharya Tisa, Acharya Mita, Acharya Sukla, I don't know, I don't remember all the names, but it just says Acharya for them. So I thought, okay, that must be right, it must mean none. Well, apparently it actually means something more like respected teacher. But there were people on Facebook calling me stupid for not knowing this, and really stupid for not knowing the meaning of Acharya. It's not really common parlance, but I do understand the meaning of Acharya, and I probably understand it a little bit differently from the way those folks who are being very pedantic about it understood it. So let me explain how I understood it. This is my business card from Tsuburaya Productions. This is the only one I have left. It's all jacked up, and I feel bad about that, but I can't find any more. But this is one of many, and they have different variations. And if you see all that kanji that go, well, you probably can't notice. My name is written in katakana, Buradowana, and then above it is a bunch of kanji that describes my position. Well, if you turn it over, you get the English version like this, and I'm listed as Public Relations Licensing Services for the International Division. That's what Acharya is. So let me unpack that a little bit. Every time you have a group of people trying to work together to a common goal, whether it is a factory that makes socks, or a Starbucks coffee house, or a McDonald's, or a film production company, whatever it is, or a massive religious institution like Shambhala is, then you have to have a division of labor. And because you have a division of labor, means each individual who works within that organization has to have a title which delineates their duties and responsibilities, and to a certain extent also delineates what they can't do. So it says all the things. So when I presented this card to somebody who was interested in working with Tsuburaya Productions, they know that they're talking to the guy who's public relations licensing services international division person. It's very vague. At one time I was called international business coordinator. I don't have any of those cards, but whatever. It gives you kind of an idea what I do. Same deal with Acharya. It just gives you an idea what Pema Chodron's role was in the overall giant conglomerate religious institution that is Shambhala. So what she did was she quit her job. At age 84, she decided she did not like what the company was doing and how they were operating, and as a matter of conscience, she quit her job. Quitting your job at age 84 is I mean, most people aren't even working when they're 84, so it has a limited sort of meaning, but in the case of Pema Chodron, it has a bigger meaning because she is probably, I can't think of anybody within the Shambhala organization who's more famous than Pema Chodron. So, after Chogyam Trungpa is dead, and Sakyong is probably famous among nerds who care about this thing, things like who cares about Shambhala. But as far as general public is concerned, the only person that any man on the street or woman on the street is likely to know would be Pema Chodron. So by her quitting her job, even though she's 84 years old, she makes a big statement about how she feels about the company, and it's going to affect how other people feel about the company. And so that's a big deal. So that's why I said it's a valid and honorable thing for her to do. But essentially, that's what she did. She quit her job. She had a job with a title and she quit it. As far as I understand, she's going to continue teaching Buddhism. Maybe she's got another book in the works, and maybe she's got her students and whatever, and she didn't give up her nun's vows, so all of that. So if I misled people into thinking she gave up her nun's vows, which I don't think I did. I don't think anybody thought that. It was just the people who knew that she didn't getting all upset at me with the idea that I might mislead somebody else. I love it when people are advocating for these unnamed other people. We have a lot of that in our society today, especially on the internet, and it's always ridiculous. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. Acharya, as far as I'm concerned, is no more meaningful to what Pema Chodron's role was as a Buddhist than the title International... what is it? I can't remember. Public Relations Licensing Service International Division. That's just as relevant to what I was doing with Nishijima Roshi when I was studying Zen with him while I was working this job, as the title Acharya is relevant to what Pema Chodron was doing as a Buddhist teacher. That's my opinion. And one of the sad things about Buddhism as it's understood largely in the West is people are really fixated on these titles. They're fixated on the idea that Acharya means something. At San Francisco Zen Center, they are very fixated on the color of your rakusu, because the color of your rakusu at the San Francisco Zen Center designates rank. So a brown rakusu or a yellowy rakusu is the highest rank, and then below that I believe is a green one, and then a blue one, and then a black one. I might be getting this wrong, but it's color-coded, and everybody there knows it, and people in that organization are, to sadly a large extent, really fixated on those kinds of things. And to me, that's nothing to do with Buddhism. All it is an indication of a division of labor that is necessary to make the organization run. And it's just a job, exactly as my job as International Licensing Coordinator, or whatever the hell it was, Tsuburaya Productions, was my job. And nothing to do with my Buddhist practice, nothing to do with anything that has anything to do with a level of enlightenment or understanding or ability to teach it or anything like that. These are just meaningless nothing. And I've always stuck to my guns with my position on this. The downside of it for me is that there's a lot of jokers out there who, because I don't insist on a position for myself, assume that means that they know as much about Buddhism as I do. Well, I got 37 or so years of practice behind me, so I probably know a little more than somebody who just started 2 years ago or 2 days ago. But whatever. It's a cross I must bear. It's just what it is. I would rather not insist on a title and a rank and then get stuck in that, and because of that I'm just going to end up being thought of as a yo-yo. So if you think of me as a yo-yo, that's fine. I don't care. Whatever. I mean, I care a little bit, obviously, but it's not a hill I choose to die on, I guess is the metaphor. Whatever. Anyway, thanks a lot. If you want to help me choose hills to die on, that doesn't work. You can donate via PayPal and Patreon. That's how I make my living. That's how I continue doing these videos. And I really, really appreciate your kind donations. Helps out a lot. Thank you. See you later. Bye.